Hey everybody, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is a market radar going into Friday, January 29th, basically the last trading day of the month. Now, there's a lot of interesting things going on. Right now you're looking at the 5-minute chart today. Other than, a tremendous day in Facebook we had here at Day Trading Radio, I think a lot of people really came out and really did well, and we actually got in that a couple times, and that was great. I mean, that was just made the whole day. The day was, kind of a big celebration off of the Facebook. As the market kind of tightened up here, and you can see what happened all day. We had a little, kind of a wavy action. The stochastics acting really good. Just overbought, oversold, oversold, overbought. And then we kind of got tightened up here. And even though we were making those rotations, getting back down to oversold, but they were tightening up. The price was getting real tight here. And you know what? It's not my favorite. You don't have to trade every single minute of this day. If we wait for a certain setup, which defined, we've added new alerts to the dashboard, really to kind of identify the lane divergences live on the 5-minute time frame and the 1-minute time frame. There's nothing that's going to get biased, so we might as well just wait for the best opportunities. And there was a couple good, just rotations. That's about it. But you could see that the kind of the compression of the price here. It just means that something bigger is going to happen. Maybe tomorrow. I would consider tomorrow to be an interesting day. There's still a lot of negative talk out there. I'm not 100% convinced that we're pushing higher yet, because we're starting to see. I'm going to break down this daily. This is a technique, what we call a negative stochastic price divergence. Typically, we get a nice move down in stochastics. Price moves down with the stochastics moving up. We got a general move up in the price. That's how things work. That's what the stochastics are measuring. But when that changes, when that diverges from the normal, you start to be able to see that. And typically, you want to see this rotation up with the stochastics, and we're basically been going sideways, and that's what I call a divergence, because as you get overextended and overbought, things roll over, and if it hasn't pushed up on this, it's sure to push down on as we get a little closer to the upside, and that's how this play usually ends up playing. Now, that's on a daily time frame. Not taking into consideration any news that comes out in the oil sector, not to take into any consideration of news out of China or anywhere else. These things will move the markets. But technically speaking, right now we're seeing a little bit more kind of, no progress is kind of a negative sign here, just showing up on a daily. The 60-minute time frame, you can't get a good read off of this either. Sideways consolidation. As you can see, the tightness of we tightened up, especially today we tightened up. But we have this kind of a small little micro channel, not much going on. We're not oversold. We're flatline. It's very choppy. I just feel like, something's going to come from this. Here's your daily, combination, up, down, and up. Which way we're going to go. It's earnings season. We have earnings. We just had earnings out. We had Amazon getting crushed after hours. And it's, it's the earnings. We could see some movement off of these earnings. I am looking at the futures right now. I want to switch over to the futures for a second. And you can see, our closing price right above us. We're down $1 basically off the close. So, it's not giving us anything to really look at. If I see Facebook here chopping around 107 and change. But that's it, Are we going to roll over? It seems like the market's kind of a little tired right now. We look at the futures here, and we've been just tearing it up. I tell everyone who's out there, not a listener to Day Trading Radio, tune in. There's so much going on in this market. It's such a good time to be out there because we've really nailed some of the higher probability areas where we want to be involved. You could take a trade or not, but the great thing is we're going to show you where the best places are on every time frame. So when we see it on the daily, that's might be better for people out there who do not day trade daily, or it might be better for those swing traders who are looking for a move to, something to trade at the beginning of the week and get out at the end of the week. At least you'll know some of these setups give you a better chance for a 4 or 5 day move versus a 15-minute move versus an hourly move or a daily move. These are all breaking down, and it's all broken down for you from 8:30 to close and beyond. I'm always on at night too. Kind of even the futures getting busy at night, but you can see that everything is marked off here. So, that's what we have to wait for. We have to wait for these areas. our divergences, our setups, our HPS quality playbook plays. And I stress this all the time. Just wait for your setup and then take your shot. You don't have to rush in. If we don't trade a day because it's just getting very tight, then that's fine, because the market's not going anywhere. We're going to be, back on track. Don't get sucked into getting burnt out too, over trading. So what does that tell us for tomorrow? That tells us exactly. We're going sideways. I have a feeling that, there is a reason to be hedged up here. I think we're not ripping higher. Some things are just chopping around. It looks like we might have a move. I wouldn't be. I actually have a little of the TZA. That's the only hedge I have, 50 shares of that. But I'm thinking of actually getting some puts in this. And I haven't looked at the Russell, so let's just take a look at the Russell fast. Yeah, Russell actually looks a little more negative. It's got that descending triangle look to it. And the daily, yeah, that doesn't look too good. This is a very clean, what we call a negative price divergence. Definitely a sideways consolidation, and a rise here represents that flag. Something very similar to what we look for on a triple stochastic flag setup, where we look at that embedded stochastic, or that price level that's flagging out and going sideways, but we get that fast rotation, but we're embedded on the slow and the medium stochastics. So that kind of has that little feel to it. But on the negative side, this bearish flag, we get that fast rotation up, and then it rolls over. This doesn't move with it. It's kind of, this is the overall trend down. Seems to be holding steady. So looking at that Russell, and some people would even consider the Russell being, a major leader sometimes. It really depends what's out there, what type of news, and what kind of stocks are running. But the Russell is a good indicator in itself. So this was very bearish also. The Russell is bearish. The S&P slightly bearish. So I definitely think we could probably, and it wouldn't be. Now the only thing I'm concerned about is some news coming out over the weekend in the OPEC. Some news talking about whatever they're going to do, bring it to the table to work off the oil issues. The market ran this morning. There was the rumors. The Russian oil minister said that OPEC countries and non-OPEC are willing to come to the table at any cost, and the market spiked. And then there was a rumor that nothing was going on, and the market pulled back. So it's really, we're really still trading with oil. So any type of news is going to kind of throw a monkey wrench into any kind of technical plan you have. Because if we do like this as a bearish setup and we get some good news, well, you're just going to be blown out of the water probably. So I'm a little concerned about this weekend coming up that we might have some news. But I don't mind, no news might be bad news. So if there's no news, it's bad news. If there is news, then it's probably good news for the markets. And that's where we stand right now. So kind of very neutral with a slight negative bias, and wouldn't mind, looking at this as more of a bearish setup going into tomorrow and going into the weekend. All right, so that's what we're going to look at. I also have a lot of stocks tomorrow. I also put out our watch list for the following week. I went over that a couple times today for the members, and you know what? There's just some good setups out there, and we just have to wait for them. So I'm going to save that for the members watch list. There's some really good ones. I've narrowed them down to about probably 5 really good ones going into next week, and we might actually get some shorts on there. But whole new list will come out tomorrow, and and I'm looking forward to trading tomorrow. Actively trading. I trade a lot more in the room when I'm not on the mic. It's just like a concentrating. There'll be a full day of following our alerts, our new alerts, our ram in the bush alerts. I'd like to do some live videos on that tomorrow. I mean, I'll be recording those live as Paul's doing the show, and then sending that out to you guys so you could see some real good stuff. And that's about it. So with that said, I want to send this video on its way. Hopefully you have a good evening, and I'll see you in the morning, Friday, tomorrow, January 29th. Last trading day of the month. And do we have is there something to go on there? All right, that's it.